you say this is going to be a benchmark year for you. Do you mind telling the audience what you anticipate you're going to earn by year's end in total based on the 65 properties? And this isn't including any other income streams that might be associated with your business of short-term rentals, because I know, of course, you sell your coaching and so forth. So what are you going to earn just on the 65 in terms of an adjusted gross profit? This is after everybody's paid, cleaners and so forth.
Well, so I mean, last year, our business, we turned over about 3.3 million. This year, we're going to be closer to about 5 million, just in terms of
Good Lord.
rate.
Yeah. And occupancy rate?
I screwed up. I screwed up my life and business in every way possible. What did I do wrong here, guys? I should have listened to you 3 years ago. I told everybody if I had to start it all over from scratch, I would do what Michael and Katrina are doing. And instead, I went out and started a sewer business. You know, what am I doing here, guys? Help me out. So that's incredible. $5 million. If people aren't listening to you now, crazy.
Well, they say, there's money in that. So, I mean, someone's got to do it at the end of the day, right? So,
No, it's
we got a good roadmap. We're actually looking at we're looking at an exit of a significant amount of money. We've got our eyes set on 100 to 200 million exit strategy at this point. So hopefully it'll all pay off in the end. But in the meantime, my measly $85K a year is going to have to cut it. And I'll just sit and admire what you guys are building. So tell us a little more. What $5 million is the anticipated projections for 2023 then?
Yeah, so let's just kind of let's dive into that, and then let's circle back to your comment about conversations you're seeing in Facebook groups and experiences from other hosts. So really, how we got to where we're at was because we've always had a strategy, we've always had a plan, we've always had a real focus on how can we differentiate ourselves, how can we bring value to the marketplace and create a unique experience that other people are not willing or not able to offer at scale, right?
So I think just to interject on there, during 2020, 2021, it was a boom everywhere. And that includes Airbnbs and short-term rentals. So it was this huge onslaught of everyone coming into the space as well. You could essentially put up a listing with grandma's furniture and just start making money. Like travel was, there was that revenge travel that happened when everything restrictions lifted. Everyone's like, I want to travel. And everyone was making hands over fists in the short-term rental. Like if you were just to purchase a property or get into it, the space. But now we just saw a sharp shift. And this is where that Airbnb bust came in, because people didn't have a strategy. They just went in and threw mud against the wall and see what stuck. They didn't have a pricing strategy. They didn't treat it like a business, essentially, when they came into it, right? They just saw quick money, kind of a flash in the pan, like something really, really quick to come in. Now they're quick to get out. So that's really what we're seeing with the shift here. And that's what some of those Facebook posts, I just want to say that because what's the history behind it? Did they have the strategy? Did they buy the property? Did they have, the right kind of analysis? Did they make sure it was the right property they were getting into? Are they pricing it? Do they have professional photos, professional design? All those things we talk about in our training and our coaching, did they have those elements?
Well, and of course you see other people too, just how they're actually getting into deals. There's some influencers in our space, which lo and behold, you actually don't see them around anymore. At one time, they were telling people to load up on credit card debt to go purchase furnishings at a 0% interest. But by the end of their program, you'd be making $80,000 a month, and then you'd be able to pay all that stuff off. I don't see those people around anymore, and I can't say I'm surprised because like any opportunity, you have to be cognizant of the risks you're taking, the rewards that are available, but most importantly, how are you actually executing on a plan that could yield you a positive result over the long term?
Yeah.
If you don't have that there, then the stupid tax is right around the corner, and it's probably going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, it's time to pay up.
Time to pay up. And I think that's the biggest thing. When I said a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs and people coming into the space, they didn't have that long-term vision coming into it. So that's kind of the difference that we're seeing, that mass exodus happening, a lot of flack in the Airbnbs, especially in social media. Everyone 2 years ago were saying this is the greatest thing ever. And now is saying it's the worst thing ever, selling for it's just that big shift, right? And you're just got to what's under the hood, what's really driving this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there's obviously money to be made in it. And I think you're right. And maybe that's why I didn't necessarily see the dramatic fluctuation myself as things started to saturate. And also discretionary spending is having to be addressed as well, because there just isn't a lot of extra money for people to do travel like they were before as well. And so, but again, if you look at the data and it suggests that nights booked are up. So, maybe that's all fake. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it does depend on, you can't just go out and put any old property on the market. It can't just be, oh, this landlord's willing or this homeowner's willing to work with me.
Yeah.
And I can partner with them. And therefore, this is certain to work out because I've struck a deal. It also has to be contingent upon the location and our property being very unique here in terms of the space and the views and the proximity to town and the amenities that are offered. It is one of a kind. And so I think people are very experience oriented as they're booking short-term rentals a lot of the time. And so maybe you're looking for a property and it's designed to be a really great, corporate rental, and you're targeting a specific industry for that. And it doesn't necessarily have to have what my property offers, which is more of the experience. But you have to have that game plan clear on the front end. And it can't just be, I'm willing to take any old deal that comes along. But I do think that as long as somebody has a proper roadmap and with proper guidance, there is so much value behind what you guys bring to the table. And it really is truly one of the single best business models still to date, after 3 full years of knowing you guys and seeing what you've accomplished and obviously hearing your results now. For people that want to get more information, are you guys still offering an initial conversation to at least vet them and decide, hey, is this actually a fit for you?
Yes, and that's what's really, really important. So we have just like a free consultation to be able to connect. And that's what's really, really important for us is alignment, because we spend 4 months in coaching and training, and having that, we have to make sure that it's the right fit both ways. Like, are you coachable? Are you teachable? Is this what you really want for the long run as well? Like our students that come through our program are still doing this growing and scaling. And, they're not in here just to make that quick money. They can make money fast, don't get me wrong, but they're in it for the long term as well to really create
right.
business. So we have to have that direct conversation to make sure our goals are aligned.
And I think that's great. And so normally what we've done in the past is we just send out an email address. We put it up on the screen here. You guys can email Michael and Katrina. They can get your intake form filled out and obviously set up what I would be sort of a pre-qualification conversation to determine if it's a fit between the two of you. I did recently see that you guys are even putting a guarantee of your first property within 4 months or something like that, I think was a recent post. But I see the success, and it does have to be long-term. And there really are 2 categories. I had mentioned that to you guys before we filmed. I look at sort of that passive opportunity collection of ideas versus proactive collection of ideas. And I think it's important to diversify. I would consider an 8 to 5 or a normal day job to be a proactive form of revenue. No different than if you wanted to go out and build a short-term rental property management business like this. And so you have to be really committed to that, just like you're committed to waking up and getting to work when you're supposed to and doing your tasks throughout the day. This is exactly the same thing. You cannot sit back and do nothing and expect it to grow. So that means it's not for everybody. If you're not the type of person that is ready for a commitment of time, then don't expect this to be a good fit for you, period. If you're somebody that is just looking for those passive opportunities, then we have those here on the channel too. I'm the type of person that believes very firmly you're going to have to do both. You have to do both. And if a day job is all you want to be doing for the proactive side, so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally, if I were stuck working for somebody else, it would be, I would have a hard time sleeping at night until I had put in enough hours after the 8 I was committed to for a full-time job to build my way out of having to work for someone else, having to make them wealthy, having to work by their rules. I would never, ever allow that to be the case in my life for any longer than necessary. But for some people, that's fine. That's what they want. They like the structure of that. But this is what that is. This is, in my opinion, and a replacement to that, but the transition period will take time. It might be years, not months. It certainly isn't going to be weeks. And so as you start to build this, it can eventually replace your current income. And take it from Michael and Katrina, $5 million upside potential so far, absolutely astounding. And so in order to, guys, get a little more information to see if it's right for you, to learn about those timelines, to see exactly how that blueprint would work, you can email strwealth@vipfinancialeducation.com. That's strwealth@vipfinancialeducation.com. Make sure you put your first name, your last name, and your contact phone number in that email address as well. It's very important that you provide your contact information there. So yeah, guys, I mean, I think this is really kind of the crux of this, is that there is still opportunity. That it does depend on your strategy. You can't be willy-nilly about this. You cannot go into this, like you said, Katrina, just sort of throwing mud against the wall. This is not the Wild West of the short-term rental industry anymore. This is very much the people that have a real structured game plan are going to be the ones that survive, and the people that don't are going to absolutely feel some pain and probably exit the industry, never to look back. I can't imagine people who have suffered through a bad experience with short-term rentals ever reconsidering it again, even if it skyrockets like it did back in 2020, which was a total anomaly. That's not even a normal market. For anybody to come in to 2024 and beyond expecting it to be like 2020 still is kidding themselves. That's not, hopefully we never have to endure anything like that ever again. I mean, there were some pros that came from all that stuff, but at the end of the day, that's just not normal life. And so you're going to have to be really talented at this. And that's why I think having people like Michael and Katrina, who are obviously just absolutely destroying this right now, they're standing beside me. Why would I try to recreate what you guys have done? And it's possible. You guys did it without a coach. You didn't have coaches per se that had invented what you guys created before you. You came in and essentially pioneered this roadmap for yourselves. So it is important for people to know that you can go out and do this on your own. But if I had access to all the scripts and the exact step-by-step process, why would I not pay $10,000 to get access to that and save myself months and possibly years worth of progress and painstaking hard lessons that you can help me just avoid? So I'm a big fan of mentorship, of course, and you guys are top notch when it comes to that.
Well, I think you hit on a number of important points, and what it really boils down to, if someone's watching this video right now and still sticking around to this point, which we give those person a lot of credit. Having said all that, you're either going to pay the time, which could involve a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of pitfalls, unneeded, expensive lessons just because of sheer ignorance, or you can pay the money, right? That's what it really boils down to. And
that's that shortcuts, and to make sure you're as profitable as you can off the get-go is huge. And you're right, like honestly, there wasn't mentors in the space when we started. We had to pioneer the pricing strategy, even our agreements, our contracts, like everything, like the templates that we had, we pioneered ourselves to work within the business because of the mistakes we've made, right? Like that's where it's like been creative out of. So that's anyone plugging into that, it's just going to go quick. And we've seen that time and time again with all of our students and the successes they've had. And they're able to grow and scale, find those right properties that are profitable off the get-go and mitigating the risk behind it. Like our students are getting into deals with no money down. They're not purchasing properties. They're able to sign a piece of paper and start managing a property and being profitable month one. That's incredible. And especially in this kind of market that we're at, not having to pay for any furnishings, mortgage, lease, like that's what we're coaching and training on. And that's what we do in our business.
Yeah. So I mean, take the headline, take negativity aside. As of today, the short-term rental industry is $100 billion+ a year industry. Okay.
Crazy.
That's a pretty big pie that can go around for a lot of people. Okay. By the year 2030, which is only 7 years away, it is going to be about $250 billion a year industry, so $250 billion. So the industry is projected to double in size. So put all the negativity away. Can you make a case, is Airbnb still going to be around by then? could be anyone's guess, right? But the backdrop behind all of this is this industry is not going anywhere. If it is still going to grow, it is still going to accelerate. The question is, how do you take advantage of the opportunities that are right in front of you? How do you have a plan and strategy to capitalize on that opportunity? And most importantly, where can you go to find it so that you can learn what you need to learn now, as opposed to finding out later or just missing the opportunity altogether? So that's why we exist.
I love it. Well, there's obviously a lot more to cover. I'm excited to bring you guys back on for, you know, some follow-up episodes, and we can dive deeper into this, because I think now is a really important time to do it. And you're right. I mean, to expect that this industry is going to go anywhere is ridiculous. I mean, that would be like saying travel is going away. And, you know, while this might be a trickier time, just as it is for anybody in the real estate industry, right? Anybody that's a real estate agent at this point, a mortgage lender, to suggest that those industries are going away would be equally ridiculous. So it's going to be the strong who survive, and those that do and come out through the other end, through the volatility of an industry like this, they are unstoppable in most cases. And there are people now, I know real estate agents that are still crushing it while it seems like the sky is falling for most. So it really is all about having the tools to understand how to be the best in order to find the right properties and the right product to market. But this is, in my opinion, one of the single best work from home opportunities that exists. You can do it from anywhere you live. You can run remotely. My property here, like I said, I wasn't even in the state a lot of the time that I was offering it. One last question for you. So this, let's just say somewhere in the $225,000 point of money out of pocket for me to have this property producing for me about what I've generated over the last 4 years. Okay. So it's been basically a wash, but I get the down payment so that equity position, but it came with a $480,000 loan too, right? So I had to put 120 in and $480,000 loan. If I were to just have taken that 225 grand and invest 10K into your coaching, and then take the 210 left over and have that available to, you know, build a portfolio of properties, how many properties do you think I could have grown to with that money?
Well, I mean, what I could comment is I can just speak from our own experience, because when we first started our business, well, like some people watching this video, we didn't have a lot in the way of disposable resources to get it going.
We had full 9-to-5 jobs, or 8-to-5, as you're saying.
Yeah.
When we started, and
yeah. So we started our business off a $20,000 line of credit.
Yeah.
So, and that's, by the way, that is all the capital we had ever personally invested in our company. And now, since we began, we've now turned over almost $10 million since we've started. So
that is insane.
So at 10 times the investment of what we put in, the answer is probably a lot more than what we've been able to take it to.
Yeah. Man, so yeah, so all I really needed was 10,000 for your coaching and 20,000 to bypass all the hoops, hurdles, and challenges that you guys have gone through, because you would have just taught me how to avoid them. And then 20K, so $30,000 would have gotten me really well off the ground, which is pretty hard to compare to most businesses. You know, as a comparison, I think since we spoke, man, earlier this year, I guess it would have been, I think I've got about $1 million total right now into the sewer business. So just for comparison's sake, it's you know, a very inexpensive business to be able to put 30,000 into something and have the potential of multi-7 figures per year. That's extremely unusual. And it just goes back to what I say over and over. And I can't even count how many people at this point that, yeah, if it was all over and I was starting from scratch, this would be where I would be going, is directly to you guys. So unfortunately, I don't have time. So it's not going to happen.
Well, from what I've gleaned from this conversation, it seems like you're still the lights are still on behind you. So I think, you know,
you're doing okay.
You're doing okay. Right.
Yeah, still food with the meals. Well, I appreciate you guys always coming on. And, you know, we'll pick up I've got a couple other topics I want to discuss with you here soon. So let's get another date on the calendar. But thank you as always for coming in and sharing, updates with us and where you're at and what you can offer for our viewers. One last time, guys, on that email address, shoot your first, last name, and phone number to strwealth@vipfinancialeducation.com. And Michael and Katrina will have you fill out a bit of an intake form if I'm not wrong, and then you guys can have a conversation as to whether or not this is an opportunity that might work for you. They are offering our audience exclusively a discount up to 5 new participants only. The first 5 people that get in are going to come in at the discounted rate of $99.97. So that's a tremendous savings on your part to participate in that 4 months, and you'll also get exclusive access to Michael and Katrina, where you guys get one-on-one guidance and are able to be shown exactly how to do this the right way, and the right way from the very beginning. So I think this is a really powerful opportunity. I do, again, always appreciate you guys. You've been you've held up your end of the bargain. Let's just put it that way for the last 3 years. And you never really know when you find somebody and you want to invite them onto the channel, how it will all unfold. But 3 years later, it's safe to say that, proof's in the pudding. So thanks so much.
Well, we appreciate you having us back on. It's been a pleasure to talk and engage with your audience. And we know it's been a while, but for those that don't know and haven't been following, Katrina and I, we became new parents as of last year. So we have officially a 1-year-old at our house now, and we're still trying to figure out how you make sense. Of course. Yeah. If anyone has some coaching around it, please reach out.
But we appreciate the conversation and just having a honestly transparent conversation about what's actually happening. It's always fun. It's always nice to be able to connect with you.
Likewise. Yeah, it's great. Well, looking forward to cutting some more with you guys before the end of the year. So until we see you on the next video, you guys, thank you again. And to the audience, you guys keep on cash flowing and make it a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.